Popping bottle champagne's on.
I can't believe it's already 2024. I have some news to share. I just quit my job. I still can't believe I did that, and yes, we have a lot to catch up on. So now that you're all caught up, it has been 6 months since I left my job without a backup plan. Now I am sitting here in 2024 wondering, do I regret it? Short answer is no, I do not regret it. And that feeling has stayed very consistent for me. I have not really wavered on that at all since. What I am surprised by and what I have been proven wrong is what this entire process would be like for me. And looking back, I feel like I went through 4 phases so far. And I want to walk you through what my headspace was like in each of those phases. And also, if I could go back, what I would want to tell myself given the things that I know now. Phase 1, farewell. Here's a snapshot of my headspace during this time. Did I really do that? Wow, it feels weird not getting pings from Slack anymore. I cannot wait for my Asia trip. So during this time, I had just left Notion. And I spent a total of 4 years there, and it honestly feels so much longer. I remember the morning after my last day, I woke up, did my routine, coffee, whatever, and something felt really off. And I realized it was because of the silence. I had been so accustomed to my phone chirping away with Slack notifications for years now, and I'm not complaining. I felt a mix of 2 emotions. One is this disbelief of, oh wow, I can't believe I actually did it, and kind of adjusting to my new reality. And the second emotion was this deep sense of peace. I spent some time with family, and that was a great pit stop before my travels to Asia. Here is what I would tell myself then, given the things that I know now. You are right to trust your intuition, and I am proud of you for acting on it. Phase 2, Voyage. Here's a snapshot of my headspace during this time. Oh my gosh, I love Asia. I feel anxious about facing the unknown. So during this time, I visited both Korea and Japan for a total of 6 weeks. And this was my first solo international trip. And I was like super excited, but also nervous at the same time. So the dominant emotions for me during this time was the continued sense of disbelief from the previous phase. But in addition to that, I kept being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm in Asia. Also just this sense of like, wow, even just a year or so ago, I wouldn't be able to imagine myself gallivanting in Asia for as long as I did, just feeling very proud that I was able to create such a beautiful experience for myself. But I will say that, 10% of my mind was in this cycle of worry. Should I be doing anything, even on the side? Should I start taking meetings here and there with people who've been reaching out to me after I left Notion? Is it okay to really take a break like this? You know what I mean? And what I would tell myself then, given the things I know now, is this. Give yourself 100% permission to take a break. You deserve it. Stage 3, wander. This is what my headspace looked like during this time. So what's my new routine now? Time is flying by. How much money do I have left? What if I don't have anything to show for it this entire year? Man, I miss Asia. I'm only now realizing how burned out I really was. It was in this phase when I was like, is getting real. And during this time, my dominant emotions were the following. So much pressure. I felt like I needed to be really productive, when honestly my mind and my body was just like not there. And that's when I realized that I was actually way more burned out than I thought I was, and actually needed more time to recover, when in the beginning I thought like, oh, 6 weeks in Asia, that's all the break that I'll need. And I was wrong about that. And the second thing I felt was just a ton of constraint and like scarcity in terms of time running out, money running out. Lastly was just a lot of doubt, a lot of what ifs. What if this year doesn't amount to anything? What if I have nothing to show for it? What if? And all of these emotions manifested into me turning into this kind of tyrant over myself, where I was trying to mimic work from home, and I would force myself to spend the day in a cafe or the library. I would pack my lunch and 2 snacks to minimize expenses, and I wouldn't let myself come home until it was dark. And it was just like so silly because it was actually making me miserable and not as productive in the ways that I actually wanted to be. Then something happened. At the end of every year, I do a yearly retrospective exercise where I catalog a year's worth of diary entries and I write an essay about it. I stumbled upon something I wrote right after I left Notion. The most important things in life I have. So what do I have to fear? What do I have to worry? What do I have to lose? Despite the potential missteps and failures ahead, I am loved by the people who matter. Once I read that, I felt all the pressures and stress melt away. I feel like we're always in search for answers, buried in some podcast, in a New York Times bestseller book or whatever. But I am so convinced that most of the times the thing that we need to hear at this exact moment, you already know. You just have to look within. If I could go back earlier in this phase, given what I know now, is look within and let that be your guide. Phase 4, wonder. Here's what my headspace looked like during this time. Customer research calls. I want to make more room for my creative side. I want to stay open and curious throughout this process. I still feel all the same worries, doubts, and fears. So during this phase, I had just come out of doing that retroactive exercise. I started to wonder, why did I love Asia so much? Travel and novelty aside, I think what I really loved about it was just the state of constant wonder that I was in. A guiding question for me in 2024 is this: how can I find the wonder in wandering? And I really have no idea what my life will look like by the end of 2024. And while that is anxiety inducing, especially at my age when most people around me are very settled in their careers, relationships, or even having kids, I also wouldn't really have it any other way. Thank you so much for watching and just for bearing witness into my journey so far. And also, last thing, Amy and I have so much in store for our channel in 2024, so stay tuned for that. Bye.